If you're growing stone fruit and you deal with brown rot, so I'm kind of assuming that's somewhat common. So when I examine a disease, where does it come from? So in the case of brown rot on stone fruit, this is a fungus that gets into the blossoms in spring and makes little twig lesions. There's a secondary round of infection where spores come out and get the ripening fruit. So when I talked about diluted milk, I was talking on the second round of that infection. But when brown rot gets into the tree, those twig lesions are where the spores are going to come from the next spring. And you can actually see like gummosis, some oozing happening where this is in place. So sometimes, and what Pete just said about copper is what made me think of this, sometimes when it gets more established in an orchard, you need to do a little more allopathic touch. So copper is pretty harsh on the ecosystem. It's not something you want to do every year, but if brown rot's got established, you need to clean up that front end of the cycle. That's the launching pad of that disease, so that you have less bloom getting affected, and thus you have less fruit getting affected. Again, it's not something you necessarily want to do every year, but in that case, it's on the tree itself. Similarly, well, Wayne, I know you grow pears. There are some pears that are subject to pear scab. So it's like a cousin of apple scab. It's not the same organism. But pear scab is different because it not only is coming back from the fallen leaves, but it also comes from those twig lesions. And something like copper sometimes is necessary to knock it back if you're growing a really susceptible variety. I was growing one really susceptible variety, and after several years of it, I cut it down. It was just like, I don't need that in my list of things to do.